Hey gang, hope everybody out there is having a good day and welcome back to another edition of Intuitive Angling. Really appreciate you guys taking a little time to watch the video. And today we're going to talk about what I have found out personally to be three of the biggest myths in bass fishing. And I'm going to go over, not only tell you what the myths are, but tell you what you can do to catch more bass to counter that myth that a lot of people have fell into. And I think that's going to help everybody out a little bit. Real quick, for just get started here, just want to remind you guys, if you missed this morning's video, we got our new Blockout Old School Jig color up for sale right now. We got the, if you guys didn't see it, that's the new offering. It's the 9th color we make. It's the brown and purple. Awesome color right here. And I just talked to Baitworks this morning, and they've sold out about half of the stock they got. So if you guys are interested, I'll include the Baitworks link in the description. You guys can get you some of this good black and purple living rubber. Excellent clear water color, excellent fall color. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about everything here as far as what I have found to be three of the biggest myths. Now, we've talked about myths before on the channel. It's wide ranging because there's a ton of different myths, but I really wanted to address what I think are the three biggest ones, and not just tell you what they are, but tell you what you can do to catch more bass if you ignore those. Number one is there's a big myth out there that bass position according to the current or the wind. And one of the biggest old wives' tales in bass fishing is bass, position into the current where they're looking upstream to where they can get whatever's falling down to them, or the same with the wind. Guys, this is not true. This is one of the biggest myths in bass fishing because, and we've talked about this a little bit before, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but bass are not victim of the current. It's not like they are victims of their environment and have to position a certain way. I have caught bass in varying degrees of current, even up to heavy current, around 360 degrees around an object. In the front of the current, to the side of the current, in the back of the current, in the eddies, everywhere. Bass are going to position where they can most actively ambush their prey. And what happens, one of the biggest fallacies in bass fishing, is you look at the surface of the water and you see the current or the wind coming in a certain direction, and you're looking at this from above the water, and you think, well, the bass are going to be positioned this way, so I need to cast this way and bring it to the fish. Guys, there's tons of underwater current breaks down there that you can't even see. There's current breaks that are caused by natural formations in the bottom contour, rocks, logs, different objects in the water. So you have no idea, how those fish are actually positioned. So when you get around a piece of cover, if you have current or if you have wind, make sure that you make casts from all different angles. Don't just come in thinking the bass are going to be positioned in one position, because they're not. That's one of the biggest ones that we get into. Next biggest myth in fishing is that bass bite lures because they're feeding actively and they're hungry. We went over this a little bit in the past too, but I want to get into it a little bit to sort of tell you how you can get there. Guys, bass bite because they're hungry, I think, least amount of any reasons that they bite. I think, in my opinion, you guys have heard me say this before, I think most bass feed at night. I think that's when the active feeding goes on. And I think that when you catch a bass during the daytime, obviously they're opportunistic and they're going to try to capitalize whenever they can. But most of the time, if you catch a bass during the daytime, it's out of a reflex action, it's out of competition, curiosity, anger, a lot of variables besides that fish being hungry. And knowing this, you can adjust your techniques to where you don't have to fish the type of baits that they're actively feeding for. For example, if it's during the daytime and, say you're fishing around a stump or something like that, a lot of times, especially like this time of year, you can pitch a jig or a creature bait up next to that stump and you're not going to catch much. But if you burn a crankbait or spinner bait past that stump really fast, you're going to generate that reaction strike from that fish. Reaction strikes, in my opinion, are the number one reason bass feed during the daytime. So make sure that you focus on creating a reaction strike, especially if you're around some type of a target. The other one out there is like competition. One of the biggest things that you can do to capitalize on competition is, if you catch a bass, I don't care if it's in a foot of water or 30 foot of water, try to unhook that bass as quick as you can and either throw it back in the lake or put it in your well if you're in a tournament, and get back and make another cast at that exact angle as fast as you possibly can, because more than likely there's another fish down there. Fish travel in wolf packs most of the time, and the competition aspect of the fish, if you can get in there real quick right after you caught one, there's a good chance that you're going to get bit, but you don't have much time, so you got to get in there real quick. And the third one real quick, and I could go on for 100 of them, but the third one real quick we'll talk about is the fact a lot of people say bass are dumb. And guys, this is a huge myth right here. I hear a lot of guys out there that they demean bass, say they got pea brains and say they're stupid, and they talk in derogatory terms, and it's very disrespectful for the fish. Guys, like I said, I've talked about this before, bass have been on this planet way before humans. They've been here for millions and millions of years. You got to give any species out there credit for sustaining themselves over that type of a time period. They are not stupid. They are experts at adapting to their environment and to adapting to different evolutionary changes and adapting to changes within the environment themselves. Think about it. If a bass has been here for millions of years, some estimate them over 120 million years, think about how many environmental changes that the bass lineage has went through over that much time period that could have made them go extinct. You know, you see species go extinct all the time, but a bass has survived for that length of time. So you got to give them credit for being smart. So one of the things you can capitalize out in that fishing is when you're fishing down an area, be stealthy, be quiet, be aware of the fact that that bass knows you're there. I can promise you guys, if you pull into an area, say you pull up to a main lake point and you shut your boat down 75 yards away from that point, and you idle into it where you're 50 yards away from the point, you put your trolling motor down, you got your electronics on, those bass know you're there. If they can detect a minnow in pitch black darkness and 30 foot of water, they know your 21-foot bass boat is 75 yards away from them. So try to be quiet, try to be stealthy, and it's going to just wind up for a lot more fish for you guys. So again, guys, just the 3 quick ones here that's going to help you out if you keep that in mind. Again, I'll include the Baitworks link in the description, or the Blog It Old School Jig link in the description. Get you some of the new brown and purple. And please hit that subscribe button, guys. We're getting close to 85,000 subscribers. Got a big giveaway. Got cases of Bridgeford Sweet Baby Jerky to give away to the winner of that. All you got to do is be subscribed. So thanks a lot. We'll see you guys later.